What's going on, guys? What's going on? This is your boy DJ Fatsnacks with another review of Secret Invasion. This is now the review for episode 5. Oh man, this is a great episode. I'm enjoying this show so far. I know a lot of people feel like it's a slow paced, but it is very informative. It's giving us some backstory to some things. I really do wish they would give us understanding of when Rhodey was taking over. We didn't get that in this episode, but I digress. Yeah, we had a lot of gunplay in this one. Not bad. Let's start off with how it ended and how it started off. So we ended off with Fury getting the president away from everything that was going on, trying to save him to protect him from gravik. So with this episode starting off is him going into the hospital trying to make sure the president is actually safe and will be okay after his injuries in the accident. The attack that gravik did. So he sits there and he's like, I'm protecting the president with my life. He kind of tells the president not to trust Rhodey. It's just all this little stuff. I don't think the president hurt him. But the way the episode played out towards the end, maybe the president did hear him. Let's see how that goes. Spoiler alert if you don't already know this. 9 times out of 10, when we get the Thunderbolts, he's not going to be the president. Just saying. Because we already know that Thunderbolt Ross is going to be the president for the Thunderbolts movie. And that is going to be played by Han Solo himself. So, yeah, so he's supposed to be coming in, playing that role. So we'll see how this series ends. So Rhodey comes in, he sees him, and he sees Fury, and he's like, you know what? I'm finna go ahead and talk to the president. And then Fury threatens him, say, "You think I'm finna let you anywhere near the president?" Because he knows he's a Skrull. There's our confirmation, official confirmation that he knew that Rhodey was a Skrull. I mean, I know it was kind of not understandable what happened in the last episode, but that tells you clear enough that that's what it was. So, on top of that, him making that threat, Rhodey says, "Oh, you making threats now? I can make a threat too. Matter of fact, because I know you was gonna be here, I already set that video of you killing Maria Hill out. So now Fury has to try to get away because he knows people are gonna be coming for him. So Fury does that little thing. Like, he doesn't do it, but basically, if you watch the episode, it looks like he's like, I'm coming for you." And he leaves off. So so then that's when we get the episode, the part of the episode where Fury is speaking to Gravik on the phone, realizing what his plan is and what he's trying to do. And that was a good revelation for us as well, as far as us finding out what he had his second in command looking for this whole time in these different locations. So come to find out, it's the DNA of all the Avengers. Man, can you believe exactly what would happen if Gravik would have got his hands on that DNA? He would be unstoppable now, man. And it's not, he didn't even get the DNA just from them individually. He got it from the Battle of Earth, the Snap, Endgame. You know how many people was at that battle? And you tell me he got all the DNA from that? Woo, Gravik would have got his hands on it, that would have been over. Second of all, why the hell does Fury have this DNA? They gotta explain that too. Like, that doesn't make no sense. What was his purpose of having the DNA? I'm pretty sure we'll never find out what the purpose of that is. And maybe next episode is the last episode, so maybe next episode we might get some understanding on that. So yeah, so they're calling it the harvest, which that makes sense. You harvest all this DNA from these different heroes. Why not? So then after that, Fury meets with Gaia and speaks to her about just the fact that her dad died and so forth. And it was funny because he went in to his little safe house and realized that someone was in there and he was ready to get him. He wasn't expecting Gaia. And at the time, I kind of was expecting Gaia, but I was like, knowing this show, you could never tell who would have been on top of knowing where Fury was or whatnot. So the fact that he was expecting, the fact that it was Gaia, he was kind of, a little bit better. Talked to her about her dad, getting killed and so forth, and she wanted to know, like, he, she wants his body so she could bury him. So Fury tells her where it is, and she's like, but she doesn't know how to do the ritual or whatever. And he tells her about Var, say, go ask Var, she knows what to do, and she'll help you out with that. So my mind is thinking, like, why would he tell her that his wife is the one who could help her? When in the last episode, it basically stated that one, they probably not going to be husband and wife anymore, clearly. Two, that it looked like she was on the run for her life. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's just see where this goes. Maybe she finds out where she's going or whatever like that. So then they meet. So Guy goes and meet with Vera, and the crazy part is she goes to the house, and Vera has her gun out, and she's thinking that Gravik sent her, and Guy is like, no, wasn't. They didn't send me. I'm just here to get somebody to help me with the burial for my father. So she's like, okay, cool. Heartwarming speeches about, how good her dad is, and she's talking about what she said to her dad last, and all this stuff. They do the ceremony, and she tells him, she gives a good little prayer to her dad as he's leaving, so, so far. And then we go back to, no, they go back to the house, and as they're talking, she's like explaining to her how she has to get out and why she needs to get out, and Guy is asking her what's going on with her and Fury, and she kind of gives a look or whatever, and I think she states something about does Fury love her and her skin, and she kind of got offended, which I wasn't expecting her to get offended because I thought she would kind of feel the same way as Gaia did, is like, she wanted him to feel the same love for her if she was in her skin. So I could kind of get why she snapped. But then right when they was about to do that, that's when they were attacked. Bruh. Vera was ready. She's like, that's why she said she wanted that. Look, that's her statement was, Gaia asked her why she wanted to be in her house knowing that he was coming to get her and not somewhere else. She said, I'd rather be somewhere safe and comfortable where I know than a dark alley where nothing I'm familiar with and nothing, that looks nice or whatever. I see why. Because all them guns and that whole arsenal they had, man, and the fact that they both was attacking all those people and they got away too, that was pretty dope. That whole little scene was nice. It did kind of remind me of Terminator Salvation, though, that's already, I think that was Salvation. Whichever Terminator movie she was in, not Salvation. I think that was the one with old boy. But whatever Terminator movie she was in, it reminds me of it because she was kind of action packed in that one too, as Sarah Connor. But yeah, that was a pretty dope scene. I didn't think they were going to be the ones who get some action. I thought Gaia would have did some action more on her Super Scroll side than anything else. So after they were attacked, mind you, this is before I'm kind of skipping ahead and skipping around, but they were attacked. So Sonya, at this point, before all this, Gravik is actually now trying to talk to his people, and he's mad because his second in command was this pagan. He's been losing out to Fury about the harvest, because that's what they've been looking for. That's how we found out it was what they were looking for. So Gravik was mad at Pagan because he wasn't doing it, so he was telling everybody they need to do this stuff and they need to go kill Vera. Blah 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 blah. Pagan was like, man, bro, you tripping. This ain't what we supposed to be doing. Blah, blah, blah. So he basically talked out of turn in the sense. Gravik was already in his mode. So he had to kill the guy. I was like, dang, some of these people just, ain't no point in them being in the show. So that's how that goes. And this week has been a whole bunch of just cannon fire, for real. Just people there for no reason. Make you think that they're going to be important and they really not. And so I would say the same with this. So he kills old boy, and the new guy who came in the beginning of the show, the new scroll, Beto, he comes in and he looks and he's like, I guess he doesn't like that. So we skip ahead. So we go to Sonya now, and she confronts the scroll who's infiltrating her little division and everything. And so the guy was like, look, why are you here? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, look, I know what's going on. Let's go ahead and get this stuff done. Let's get this out of the way. And dude was like, what are you talking about? She's like, oh, you wanted the hard way. So she shoots him. Another gun. She used another gun to get some stuff, get the information out. People come in and wonder what the hell's going on, like his security. And they say, oh, this is not who you're looking for. You see the difference, right? And you can see his hand changing because that's what she shot him in. And he's changing to a scroll. So I'm just like, uh-oh. And so I guess she gets the information as far as who's actually, where are the people who are making the machine for the Super Scroll stuff. So she gets that from him, and she goes and meets up with him. She's at that. Sonya is just as badass as Nick Fury when it comes down to it, and she's doing, like, for her to be a little older lady, and she's being able to get around and just being ruthless as she is. She was like, oh, the States might have a certain thing about dealing with alien invaders and stuff, but we don't have that. So I can shoot you and do whatever I need to do to get what I need to get out of you. That was funny. And so, like, another one of her things she did to kind of showcase how good she was is that she shows up at the people who created the device house, and clearly we know they're scrolls now. And so Sonya was like, yo, what's going on? Like, who made all this stuff? She's basically asking questions and all this good stuff like that. And so the guy knew that she was going to try to take them in, like, without killing them. And so he was like, look, I'm not going to let you get away with her. You're going to have to either kill me or I'll kill her. So that's when she says the whole thing about, listen, I don't take threats lightly, blah, 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 blah. And so she didn't hesitate. She shot dude in the head. I was like, dang. She's like, gotta protect your ass now so we can go ahead and find out your information. I'm protecting you so I can torture you. That is crazy. That's her whole mindset at the moment. I'm protecting you right now so I can get the information. I'm really not protecting you. I'm protecting the information that's in your head. Once I get that, you can kick rocks. That's how crazy that was. And so then that's when we see the whole thing about Gravik's followers losing faith in the plans that he has going on. So people are talking to him, people are asking questions, and then he gets a phone call. I think because Beto comes up and asks him a question, and he's just kind of cool with it. But you just tell something's about to happen, and then they get a phone call, and then as he was getting the phone call, talking to people, and right after the phone call was done, because he gets the phone call from Rhodey, I think, and he tells Rhodey, look, if you don't get this done now, you know what happens to you. So right when he hung up, Beto goes and and basically tries to kill Gravik by putting a plastic bag on, which didn't make sense to me, but I understand if they all knew he was a Super Skrull, so they knew they couldn't just shoot him with anything. So that makes a little sense. My thing about this scene, a lot of action. Action. It was pretty dope. But what I didn't get is, why did it take so long for Gravik to get control of the situation with him having the powers and stuff? He should have been able to just mess them up instantly. Why couldn't he just use his eyes or the streaming stuff to just burn through the plastic? So, they all jumped him. They all was coming in after him. And then the fact that at the end of that whole ordeal, he uses Beto as an example. Right after he uses the other guy as Pagan as an example. So I'm like, this is crazy. So, after all that, Sonya and Fury meets up, and Fury is telling Sonya about, all the stuff that's going on. Sonya's telling her about all the stuff that's going on about the, the secret plans of making the super scrolls and stuff. So that's when we get the explanation of what the harvest is. And the harvest is literally the DNA, like I said, from all the Avengers from the Battle of Earth at Endgame. Crazy. We really need to find out why the hell did Fury think that it was a necessary thing to get the DNA of these heroes. Sonya was shocked because not only that that they have that was what he was looking for, but she also was shocked the fact that she found out that Rhodey was a scroll. She was like, "Oh shit!" And he was like, "Damn girl, how you supposed to be a good talking to me about how old I am? How you ain't see that?" And so she was like, I guess it's whatever. And so that was a funny scene. I ain't gonna lie. And so she's taking him to his grave, which I remember people talking about it when they first saw the trailer, the first trailer of Secret Invasion. So everybody was thinking that was the grave site they showed when he supposedly died in the MCU earlier in the timeline, but it was a different grave because it was somewhere else. On top of that, the grave served as a different position, and she was like, "Why here?" She's like, "Well, this is where him and his wife, his wife loved the code, and this is where she wanted to come." So that's when she found out. That was another secret that she found out that Fury's wife was a Skrull and he was married to her. So he was like, she was like, "But why? Like, why you just out in open?" He was like, "Oh no, I have a whole bunch of these all around the world." I was like, "Okay, so he got a lot of hiding spots that made it seem like he died or whatever." So we see him pull the harvest vial out, and then he goes and he's like, "You know what? I got to go ahead and suit up. It's time to suit up to get ready for this end." And he goes and gets his eye patch, his coat, his iconic coat. He gets his guns, and he gets everything. And it's crazy that he's at this cemetery and it's all decked out with different things for him to grab. That was so crazy. Like that is true Samuel Jackson and true Nick Fury fashion right there. And he walks off and says, "It's time to get this thing started and finished." Yeah, that was a good way to end that scene. That scene, no less that episode. I'm glad that they didn't do a cliffhanger style for this one, but for this being the pandemic episode, I don't know why I want to say pandemic, but for this to be the second to last episode, the stakes should have been like more extreme. It should have been more exciting. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the episode, but it should have been more being that we only got one episode left. That's why I feel like we should have got all this information and maybe 10 minutes spent on how long Rhodey's been a Skrull, and maybe just a little bit more action, if anything. Like I said, I did like the episode, but just a little bit more for it to be the second to last episode. And yeah, so like I said, we got one episode left. I don't know how much they could do and how they would basically close up this arc and this situation with one more episode with all the information we do have. So let's see how it goes. I'm pretty sure they may kill Gravik off. If not, they may send the Skrulls back to their emperor that they came from, and that may cause the shift between Earth and Skrulls, and where they have to come and take over. We may find out that there's more information of why Earth is such a great place for them to be, because that is a major part in the comic books. So let's see how that goes. But I want to thank you guys again for coming out and listening to my take on what I thought about Secret Invasion this episode, just these last couple of episodes of these reviews that I've been doing. If you like what you see, you like what you hear, and you want to see more and hear more, go ahead and make sure you subscribe to this channel, DJ Fat Snacks, Snack Bites and Reviews. You can follow that channel. You can follow any of my other YouTube channels, as well as any other social media sites out there with just looking up DJ Fat Snacks. And I appreciate you following and subscribing and doing all those things to help me out. If you have any questions, concerns, if you feel the way about certain things that happened in this episode, go ahead and comment down below. And until next time, guys, I will see you later.